Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you've watched my videos before, you probably know that I love mysteries, and recently I've been wanting to make more mystery related content on my channel. So I am starting to do that today with this video, breaking down the different types of mysteries and how you can tell the difference. In this video, I'm going to talk about the difference between cozy mysteries and hard-boiled mysteries, and also a little bit about so-called soft-boiled mysteries, which fall somewhere between the two. If everyone likes this video, I might in the future make a video on mystery subgenres, so let me know if that's something that you are interested in. Cozy and hard-boiled are terms that get thrown around a lot, and the definition may vary depending on who you ask. It also gets a little complicated because sometimes people say cozy as in how Agatha Christie is cozy, but then there's also the cozy publishing genre, which is similar but also very different. So hopefully this video breaking down what these different terms mean will help people who are getting into mysteries. First, I'm going to discuss what a hard-boiled mystery is because I think this is a little easier to define. Hard-boiled mysteries are typically grittier and have a more pessimistic view of society. If you look at a hard-boiled mystery, frequently it has a dark-colored cover, possibly with a weapon on it, a private detective in a trench coat, or a gorgeous femme fatale. Hard-boiled mysteries started coming about in the 1920s in America. They were sort of invented by an author who is nowadays not really well regarded or well known, but throughout the 1930s, 1940s, and 1950s in the US, there were many authors who had success writing hard-boiled mysteries. Some of the quintessential authors in this genre include Dashiell Hammett, James M. Cain, and Raymond Chandler. Now, when hard-boiled mysteries were first becoming popular as a genre, they almost exclusively featured male private eyes as the main characters. Think about famous characters like Sam Spade from The Maltese Falcon, or Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe, who appeared in, I think, like 7 or 8 books of his. Of course, nowadays there are hard-boiled books that do have female main characters, but traditionally male private detectives were the main characters in these sorts of novels. Some common characteristics of your hard-boiled hero include being a tough loner type. They usually are not very social people and are a little more reserved without any really strong, close relationships. Now, they all have a personal code of honor. This personal code of honor may not necessarily mean that they always follow the law. However, these characters will always have their own personal belief systems, certain lines that they're willing to cross and lines they're not willing to cross. Whether they always follow the law, not necessarily. Your main character in your hard-boiled story may be a little more of an anti-hero type. He may be willing to break or bend the law in order to achieve his goal, but no matter what, he's always going to have his own personal code of ethics that he follows. He's generally also going to have a pretty cynical outlook on life, and the plots of hard-boiled mysteries often involve the hero being betrayed by one or more people, such as by a female romantic interest or someone they thought they could trust, really reinforcing this cynical view of society. In 1999, literary critic Eddie Duggan, in an essay, referred to hard-boiled mysteries as often, quote, painting a backdrop of institutionalized social corruption. The corruption of society is a big theme in hard-boiled mysteries, and it often features anti-heroes or outright villains who will do whatever it takes to achieve their goals, even if that means they have to lie, cheat, betray, or kill. It is a very cynical view of human nature and society at large. They also often take place in urban, industrialized settings, and this is because this genre was in its heyday in America during the Prohibition and Depression eras. So that's really reflected on the overall atmosphere of a hard-boiled mystery. But another thing about hard-boiled mysteries is, though they do take place in these darker urban settings, these settings are supposed to be familiar to the readers. The tone is gritty, but it's also realistic and firmly based in the reality of the actual world. Famous author Raymond Chandler once said, quote, that hard-boiled mysteries take place in not a very fragrant world, but it is the world you live in. And hard-boiled mysteries also frequently include fast-paced, slangy dialogue and self-mocking humor. They are not going to be humorous in the same way that a cozy might be humorous. It's more so a wry, self-mocking, like deadpan kind of humor. The other thing about hard-boiled mysteries is that they do not shy away from on-page sex and violence, because this does add to the overall gritty, realistic tone of these sorts of books. Now I will start to get into what exactly is a cozy mystery. Like I said at the beginning, this is a little harder to define because people use the term cozy mystery in multiple ways. You could describe an Agatha Christie novel as being cozy, but then there is also the modern day cozy publishing genre, which often includes very cutesy covers with bright colors, sometimes cute animals on them, and they usually feature a main female character who has a career outside of crime solving. They usually relate to hobbies, so it may be themed around knitting. The main character may be a librarian, she may be a veterinarian, she may own a tea shop. The main characters in modern day cozies have these very quaint sort of career paths. One of the biggest ways cozy mysteries differ from hard-boiled mysteries is that cozies have minimal on-page sex, profanity, or violence. In fact, in modern day cozy mysteries, the murder rarely ever actually occurs on the page, and it usually is a bloodless murder method, such as poisoning or falling from a great height. It's not going to be something that requires a lot of physicality or intimate violence, like stabbing, for instance. The modern cozy mystery genre really originated in the late 20th century. They were designed to mimic the writing styles of Agatha Christie and other authors from the so-called golden age of mysteries, which took place earlier in the 20th century. So there are certain things that the classic cozy mysteries like Agatha Christie do have in common with modern day cozies, though there are noted differences between them. I do think modern day cozies definitely try to be a lot more cutesy than Agatha Christie did, and like I said, modern cozies often revolve around a certain central theme. Or not really a theme exactly, a certain central gimmick. Like, I've seen cozy mysteries where the main character owns a bookmobile, a bus that she drives around with library books in it. I've seen ones where the main character owns a cat cafe. I've seen ones set in a Scottish bookshop. All of these very quaint gimmicks that continue throughout the series. Agatha Christie books don't have that same element. Another difference between cozy mysteries and hard-boiled mysteries is that Whereas hard-boiled mysteries often feature a private detective, in cozy mysteries, the main sleuth is often an amateur. Not always, obviously, because Agatha Christie had her famous private detective Hercule Poirot, but a lot of times in cozy mysteries, the main character doesn't work for the police, has no formal training to be a detective, but finds themselves continually involved in these scenarios where they take it upon themselves to investigate. Think of characters like Agatha Christie's Miss Marple, who is not a professional detective. She's just very observant and very nosy. Or someone like Jessica Fletcher from the TV show Murder, She Wrote. Whereas hard-boiled mysteries have a cynical view about society, cozy mysteries are overall more positive and have a more optimistic outlook on life. Your main sleuth in a cozy mystery is not going to be as isolated as a main character in a hard-boiled mystery. They often have a large circle of friends, neighbors, and acquaintances, and they also frequently have a romantic interest. In modern-day cozies, your sleuth is usually going to be a woman who is not a professional detective, and as a result, frequently a male detective will be introduced as a love interest to the main character, both to provide a romantic subplot to the mysteries, but also to give the main heroine access to police information, even though she herself is not a member of the police force. Both classic and modern cozy mysteries have a lot more humor and witty dialogue than hard-boiled mysteries, and like I said, they often feature a romantic subplot. Their settings are also more likely to be quainter settings than you will see in a hard-boiled mystery. There are cozies that take place in cities, but a lot of them take place in small towns or villages. Think about the village of St. Mary Mead from Agatha Christie's Miss Marple mysteries. And finally, since cozy mysteries have a more positive outlook on society, almost always the person who is responsible for the murder is going to be brought to justice in the end. These are stories where our sleuth is able to triumph and bring about justice. Additionally, in modern day cozies, the person who is murdered is often depicted as being a bad person. Perhaps they were greedy, selfish, they were blackmailing someone. They want to keep the tone very light and fun. They don't want you to be bereft because this wonderful person was taken from this world. Another thing you're not going to see in modern day cozy mysteries is violence against children. This is something that modern day cozy mysteries do not want to touch because it's just too upsetting and traumatic for readers. Generally speaking, Agatha Christie also avoided depicting violence against children in her books, but not always. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about what is a soft-boiled mystery. Now this is a term you do not hear thrown around as much as cozy or hard-boiled. I first heard this term in Kathy Lynn Emerson's book, How to Write Killer Historical Mysteries, The Art and Adventure of Sleuthing Through the Past. This term is used to describe books that are not quite cozy, but are also not quite hard-boiled either. They are somewhere in between these two genres, and I would say soft-boiled mysteries are probably my favorite types of mysteries to read. A soft-boiled mystery is not going to shy away from violence, sex, or cursing as much as a cozy would, but it's also not going to relish in violence either. Characters may die in violent ways, but you're not going to get long passages of description talking about it. A soft-boiled mystery could take place in an urban or rural setting, and the main character could be an amateur sleuth, a private eye, or a professional police officer. They're not going to be as light and cutesy as a modern day cozy mystery, but they're also not going to be as grim and dark as a classic hard-boiled mystery either. They may have some of the wit of a cozy mystery, but also address some of the serious social issues that you might see addressed in a hard-boiled mystery. It's really a balance between the seriousness and the social consciousness of a hard-boiled mystery with the fun, wit, and romance of a cozy. And finally, the biggest difference between hard-boiled and cozy mysteries that I have yet to discuss is, for lack of a better term, how they move the plot forward and what their fans read these books for. For example, a hard-boiled mystery is really all about suspense. You read them to experience a omnipresent threat of danger. You read them wondering what the sleuth is going to get himself into and what will happen to him next. There is a real fear that anything could happen to anyone at any time. However, when you get to the end of the mystery, you're probably not going to be shocked by who the killer is. In fact, in some classic hard-boiled mysteries, the reveal of who the killer is doesn't even always make sense or isn't fully explained. A cozy mystery, however, is all about the clues and the element of surprise. You should feel like you are one step behind the sleuth. There are all these different pieces and you don't know what to make of them. There will be red herrings, dead ends, and at the end of the novel, when the sleuth reveals who the killer is, you should be surprised, but in hindsight, everything should make sense. A hard-boiled mystery is all about suspense, and a cozy mystery is all about puzzles and surprises. So everyone, I hope this video helped you understand the differences between cozy, soft-boiled, and hard-boiled mysteries. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an exceptional rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you next time.